In 2019, a metal detector hobbyist in Somerset, England, made a discovery that would challenge everything we thought we knew about the end of civilizations. Buried beneath his feet lay 2,568 silver coins. Not just any coins, Roman denarii, minted over 1,600 years ago. But here's what makes this discovery extraordinary. These coins weren't just relics. In their time, they represented wages, taxes, the backbone of an empire that ruled the known world. Yet long after the last Roman emperor fell, long after the legions marched home, these small pieces of silver continued to exist, waiting, enduring. Tonight, we explore a phenomenon that reveals the strange relationship between money and mortality, how currency can outlive the very civilizations that created it, and why this matters more today than ever before.
Money is humanity's most enduring invention, more permanent than language, more universal than religion. For over 5,000 years, we've used it to store value, facilitate trade, and build empires. But money has a dark secret. Unlike the civilizations that create it, money doesn't simply vanish when its makers fall. It persists, it endures, it outlives. Dr. Sarah Chen, monetary archaeologist at Cambridge, has spent her career studying this phenomenon. But survival doesn't mean stability, and this is where our story takes a darker turn.
476 A.D. The last Western Roman emperor, Romulus Augustulus, is deposed. An empire that lasted over 1,000 years crumbles into memory. But in the chaos, something extraordinary happened. Roman coins didn't disappear, they multiplied. Barbarian tribes who had toppled the empire suddenly found themselves desperate for Roman currency. Why? Because the coins represented more than money. They represented legitimacy. Professor Marcus Brennan, author of Currency After Empire, explains this paradox. But here's where the story becomes chilling. These coins, divorced from their economic system, began to behave unpredictably. In some regions, a Roman denarius could buy a horse. In others, it was worthless metal. The currency had become orphaned. 1865. The Confederate States of America surrenders. 4 years of war end in total defeat. But in attics across the South, something survived. Confederate dollars. Millions of them. Unlike other failed currencies, Confederate money never officially became worthless. Why? Because the government that could declare it worthless no longer existed. Today, these dead dollars trade for more than they were worth when printed. A 10 Confederate note, worthless in 1865, can sell for $300 today. But the phenomenon goes deeper than mere collecting. These currencies carry ghosts, and failure, it turns out, is more durable than success.
Zimbabwe, 2008. Inflation reaches 89.76 trillion%, a number so large it defies comprehension. A loaf of bread costs 1.6 trillion Zimbabwean dollars. The government prints currency faster than they can count it. Then, the inevitable collapse. The government abandons its own currency. The Zimbabwean dollar officially dies. But the currency doesn't disappear. Instead, it transforms. Today, 100 trillion Zimbabwean dollars, once enough to buy a small farm, sells on eBay for $5 as a curiosity. Maria Santos, who lived through Zimbabwe's hyperinflation, kept a briefcase of the old currency.
But in the 21st century, a new question emerges. What happens when the currency exists only in the digital realm?
Cryptocurrency promises to solve the problem of orphaned money. No government to collapse, no physical bills to decay. Yet the pattern persists, even in virtual form. Dr. Elena Rodriguez, digital economist at MIT, studies cryptocurrency ghost chains, blockchains that continue operating despite their creator's disappearance. In 2019, researchers discovered over 2,000 zombie cryptocurrencies, digital money from failed projects that continues to trade, sometimes years after abandonment. The implications are staggering. We've created currency that can outlive not just civilizations, but reality itself.
The persistence of dead currency reveals an uncomfortable truth about human nature. We don't just use money, we believe in it, and belief, once established, is nearly impossible to kill. Anthropologist Dr. James Wright studies currency cults, communities that maintain value in dead money long after its collapse. But perhaps most shocking, our current global financial system depends on this phenomenon. The US dollar, the euro, the yen, their value rests on collective belief in political systems that may not survive the century. History suggests that every dominant currency eventually falls. The Roman solidus lasted 700 years, the British pound 200. The dollar has dominated for merely 80, which raises the final chilling question: what happens when our current monetary system joins the archaeological record? Who earned his denarius? The Confederate soldier who carried dollars from a nation that never was? The Zimbabwean grandmother who watched her savings evaporate? Their money outlived them, not as wealth, but as witness. In the end, currency doesn't just record economic transactions, it records human hope, the belief that tomorrow will honor today's promises. And perhaps that's why money outlives civilizations, because hope, once minted, never truly dies.